Increasingly, XSOL customers are using InOrder as a centralized point for the resources required to help staff undertake the tasks assigned to them. XSOL InOrder 5 adds the ability to use hyperlinks to link to all resources which are required by the model. These may be documents, software, videos, or other electronic media that staff require at that place and time to undertake their tasks. To create the linking ability, we need to create ourselves a new user note. This note needs to be of hyperlink type. Hyperlink user notes require a correctly formatted Uniform Resource Locator, or URL, to enable them to link out of the document outputs to the resource. A URL consists of three parts: the scheme or protocol, followed by a colon and 2 forward slashes, and then a scheme-dependent path to the resource. All URLs must be formatted beginning with one of the following protocols: HTTP, HTTPS, file, FTP, or mail to. To connect to website locations, you would use HTTP or HTTPS, and for opening files, you would use file. There are two types of URL, absolute or relative. An absolute URL always has its complete path defined, whereas a relative URL refers to a base URL and therefore only needs the scheme-dependent path to the resource to be defined. This means you can determine one base URL per hyperlink user note and have all of the links in the model using that same base URL, so that if you move all of your documents to another location, then you only need to change the base URL once. For our links hyperlink user note, we will enable both relative or absolute links. Because we're enabling relative links, we do need to determine a base URL. This will include the scheme or protocol and the 2 forward slashes, and also part of the scheme dependent path. In this case, I will link to a shared folder upon my laptop. For hyperlink user notes, you can also define the default target. This value will determine what happens when you press the link, whether it opens up within the same window of the browser or opens up a new browser window. We will by default set the target to be separate, i.e. it will open up a new browser window when the URL is clicked. We now have a fully functional hyperlink user note and can begin to add values into that. This is what we will look at in the next video in this series.